there's no point like polishing a turd. I mean, I mean, sometimes you just need to make things the way it should be.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
Olavi, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. The 12th album already coming out. That's a lot, obviously. But before we go into the music and everything, I want to ask you about something very particular. We've seen some behind-the-scenes footage already and some interviews with you guys where the whole band talks about, well, this is sort of your COVID pandemic era album, and there were delays. You had to cut the tour short. But if in a few years you look back, you know, the rhythm of releases of AMON AMARTH, it's almost like you can put your watch to it. Like, yeah, in a few years, this whole thing might just feel like a mirage. Is it actually happened or not? Because every 3 years in the last, decade, we've seen the new album out. Is that weird for you? Because I know that this was a very weird cycle for you. You had to stop your tours. You had to start working. There were delays. But really, there's almost at the exact time that we expected, there is a new album. Like, nothing can stop the machine that is your band.
Yeah, but if the pandemic wouldn't happen, then we would not have an album out now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we would probably, by now, we pretty much start writing an album now. So what happened was that we had to cut the touring short. And, we sort of, decided to, there's no point for us coming back with an old album whenever the pandemic is over. So. I think we said during Berserker that maybe we should have longer between the albums, because in the past we toured, recorded, and we're not youngsters anymore.
Now, you're not youngsters anymore, but what's almost at this point unique about your band is that, with a few exceptions, there has been a ridiculously stable lineup in this band. Is the core of the band has been unchanged for a long time. What's the secret of that? And is the strength that you have as a band, is that something that made it possible to navigate these weird times?
I think for me personally, the pandemic wasn't really that weird.
Yeah.
And I think me and Johan Hegg, I think we both liked it because we got to be home. We haven't been home for 2 summers in a row since 10 or 15 years. So, but going back to the band, I think, I think we all head towards the same goal, so to say. We don't really have anything to fight about, and I think we're a good team.
Yeah.
And I think we still have fun, and we don't have any dramas between each other. I think it's all in a good level, and I think that helps a lot.
When we talk about the team, the newer member on the team is drummer Johan. In melodic death metal, a lot of attention always goes to the guitars and the harmonies, and then for good reason. But in any kind of death metal, rhythm section is extremely important. And with your band, that's no different. With Johan being what comes across to me, at least, as a very groovy drummer, this really comes out on this record. Like, when we go to the new album coming out, I had a chance to listen to the full album. This is a very even for AMON AMARTH, this is a very groovy album. Would you agree with that?
That might be. I haven't really thought about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Jocke is an amazing drummer. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And I think he had there's no restrictions or whatever. I mean, I like to write my songs to a click, and then I just send the stuff to him, and then he write the drums to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I personally, I just worked as I always done.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that that you think it's a groovier album, and that's nothing that I really reflected on, to be honest.
Is that then very similar with working with Andy? Because we're back with Andy, and I've spoken to a lot of Andy's obviously produced many albums. Generally, I get the sense from artists that they say that Andy doesn't get too involved or doesn't want to be too impactful, but is very clear about what he thinks works well. And I know that there's artists that will try to give Andy a little bit more what he's looking for, so that that everything works out in the end. How is your relationship with Andy? It's great to see him back on this record.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love working with Andy, and I'm happy that we managed to get time with him since he's so busy with his own stuff and playing in a big band, Judas Priest nowadays, which is awesome. But yeah, going back to Andy, I mean, usually how we work as a band, I mean, we are pretty prepared. We know how the songs are gonna be, and we made demos. We tried them out millions of times, so the songs are pretty nailed down. There might be a few bits that we make them longer or whatever to maybe shorten them up in the studio. But for the songwriting, we don't really need anybody come with any input or whatever. But I think the other thing with Andy is that he's an amazing guitar player himself. So that helps me and Johan Söderberg when we record, because he can actually tell way better than a non-guitar playing producer would. I mean, because he can actually say that, okay, you hear that sound here, that's because you're touching that string or whatever. So it's really relaxing to record with a guy like that. But also he's really good with phrasing vocally. He can come up with different phrasing, because usually, I mean, Johan, he might do stuff he's comfortable with that he usually does. I mean, you have certain words in each frame, and he says like, okay, maybe skip a word here and maybe add something here to get the song gets a different flow. So I mean, he's amazing in that, and as well as drums and recording bass. But I think most of all, he's a nice guy, and he actually likes us, and we like him, and I think that really helps. That because obviously, I mean, we could record with any producer, and we don't have to like each other. We can still work together. But I think in this case, I mean, we like him and he likes us, and I think that's a big part why it's successful to record with him.
On this album, you've teased it in some of the videos and the interviews already. People like myself who've listened to the full album know that yes, there are some surprises on this album. There are some songs that I think so far are maybe my favorite songs, where there's even more of that Nwabum influence that come out. I think Dawn of Norsemen is one of those songs that I really like, and then obviously as well Saxons and Vikings. I don't know how much you're allowed to share about the surprises on that song specifically, but we've seen the band do some exciting things in the last few albums and bring on board some unexpected guests. This album is no different, and it turned out really well. I think Saxons and Vikings is maybe one of the most fun songs on the album.
Yeah, I mean, we had the idea for a long time, and obviously we've known Saxon for many years. And to me, if we're gonna make a song about Vikings and Saxons, it totally makes sense to actually have Saxon the band on that song.
Yeah.
So I mean, the idea has been there for a long time, and now it felt like a good time. Musically, we had the right idea, and also since we recorded with Andy and the Saxon guys, they don't live too far away from him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a. I think it's a really cool song. I mean, it's because the music fits both growling vocals and biff vocals.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think I mean, obviously, I mean, grown up listening to Saxon, and you know, so it's a kind of big deal.
Yeah.
At least for me to have them on one of our songs.
I know that for the longest time, the band has always said, we're not a Viking band, because Viking band, that's, you know, early 90s black metal, Falkenbach and Bathory and that kind of stuff. Over the years now, you guys single-handedly changed that. There's almost no way around it. The popularity of your band, if you ask 100 metalheads, what is Viking metal? They'll talk about you guys. They won't talk about Bathory anymore. That's just a fact of life. We see you guys on previous albums, again now as well, to bring Viking mentality also to life in different ways. We've seen you put out some music videos. We go either in post-apocalyptic Mad Max world. We are completely going into the Stranger Things world as well with some videos. Is that a way for you guys to try to almost escape a limitation that over the years you've sort of put on yourselves, where everybody, I remember 10 years ago, I think you did a first photo shoot for Metal Hammer magazine, and it was all in biker style, and everybody was like, cool, but huh? I thought you guys were Vikings. So like what's that like for you guys?
Well, first of all, I'm just gonna say that the not being want to be called Viking metal, that's something that Johan Hegg said, and I don't really understand what he meant by that. To me, it makes totally sense that people call us Viking metal. I mean, we sing about Vikings, our image is Viking, and we play metal. So to me, it makes totally sense. So whatever he said, that's something he can answer for. But with that said, I mean, we just want to have fun with the videos. And we thought, like, we were approached the idea of the Mad Max / Viking a while ago. And we thought we're going to do that for another song, but that didn't happen. And since we decided to do a video for Get in the Ring, we thought that, let's do that theme. And that works well with Eric Rowan as well when he's fighting. So yeah, we just want to do different things, and the same thing with this video, Great Heathen Army. Because I mean, obviously, I think our first idea was to have like several hundred Vikings, but that's really difficult to get together.
For sure.
Unless you go to one of these Viking markets, and the Viking markets and the meetings, they don't happen until later.
Yeah.
And we needed to have this video. So I mean, so we had to like rethink the whole thing, and that's something that Pavel, the director, came up with. And fun idea, and it's fun to have some similarities to the TV show and all that.
Yeah.
And I think the next video that's gonna be released on the day when the album comes out, that's gonna have people talk even more, I guess.
Oh, interesting. Okay, exciting. Can't wait for that. Awesome. Well, we are gonna be running out of time soon, Olavi. So I want to sort of wrap us up with a question that must give you headaches as well. This is your 12th album. You've got such a back catalog now, and whenever you guys put on a show, you've got people that just want to hear your entire debut album, and then there's a whole lot of other people that want to hear at least 3 songs from the Twilight album, and then you obviously also have to, promote your new album. And on top of all of that, the band is this year really 30 years old. So there's so much that you kind of have to, there's so many boxes you have to check. Like, how do you go about that?
I mean, it is difficult, but I mean, it is what it is, and luckily for us, our fans seems to like the newest album. Every time we release a new album, that's what they play the most. I mean, obviously we follow closely, especially these days when you have streaming services.
Right.
You can actually see what people listen to.
Yeah.
And if you look at top 20 AMON AMARTH songs, I mean, there's nothing older than 15 years old except for Pursue the Vikings in that list. And that kind of says something about us as a band. And I think that's our strength. That I mean, of course, there's always going to be fans screaming about your first song you ever wrote. So that's the one they're going to hear. But we always try to put in some songs, and we try to like switch it up so we surprise them with something. But for the most cases, they're all looking like fish like with an open mouth and just staring because they don't know what song it is. If we play something, so and then if we play something from the new album, everybody gets crazy.
A lot of your fans weren't born when your first albums came out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I get it, but it is what it is. I mean, if we're gonna tour, we cannot play for like 16 hours.
Yeah.
We have a set list, and it's not gonna get easier.
No, exactly. Now you've already celebrated some of your milestones as a band. You know, in the past there were reissues, there were special shows, and so on. So should we not have too many expectations for the 30th anniversary, and it's really all focused on the Great Heathen Army right now, and maybe more celebrations in the future, or what should we expect?
I don't know. The funny thing is that we haven't even talked about this yet. And I mean, nobody in the band mentioned the 30 years.
That's a great thing, really. That shows you how strong you are today and how relevant you are today. That is not even a question. So that's a beautiful problem to have, I guess.
But I mean, at some point, somebody's gonna bring it up, and let's see. But as for now, it's all about the Great Heathen Army.
Awesome. All right. On that wonderful note, that we can expect the army to, conquest through not just Europe but all of the world, and hopefully we'll see you guys up here in North America soon as well. Olavi, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate how busy you guys are right now with these promotion cycles, and I really appreciate that you take some time to answer my questions. I hope you have a wonderful and not too crazy rest of the promotion cycle, and then I can't wait for all the fans to discover this new album and see you guys go on tour again. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.